Welcome to Superhero Cinema Club, an in-depth exploration of the history of superhero films. I'm Mark Schiff, and joining me as always, it's the Arthur Reeves to my Carl Beaumont. It's Mike Carnes.
Hey, that guy was a scumbag, man. I don't know if I like that one.
I mean, he is kind of the lackey for Carl. Not that you're my lackey by any means, but this is the only one that worked in this context of this film, Mike. So
absolute insulting going on here. It sounds
right
like our podcast.
Yeah, right out the gate. Mark and I are used to it, though. 20 years of at least of ribbing each other. So
immediately throwing shade, and that brings us to our very special guest for this episode. We are really honored to be joined by Will and Alex Robson. These gentlemen run the Batman the Animated Series podcast, which is just a fantastic podcast. Really, really highly recommend it. Will and Alex, how you guys doing?
Yeah, good, man. Thanks for having us on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us on. This should be fun.
I'm really excited to talk about Phantasm with the experts of the animated series here. You two,
experts?
So. Yeah, absolutely.
He's the expert. I'm just along for the ride.
I was just going to say, I did watch Phantasm again the other day in preparation for this, which is
me too,
funny because I've seen it so many times. But yeah.
That's good you did your research. We appreciate it.
There we go. Well, yeah, we're going to be discussing the 1993 film Batman Mask of the Phantasm. This is the feature-length film that was based on the Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, it was actually my first time watching this film. I hadn't seen it before, so it was kind of interesting to go in. I'd been binging a bunch of the episodes of the animated series. A lot of your recommendations, kind of catching up on the ones that you guys shouted out. So The Laughing Fish, I think you both have cited as maybe your top episode of all time. It's a good one. I really like, is it Joker's Favor? I think it's
That's my favorite.
Ooh, yeah, it's excellent. I mean, it's just funny. It's like a road rage incident leads to, now you owe me for the next 2 years. Really good stuff. So before we get started, why don't we talk a little bit about you guys' background, not only with the animated series, but what you guys are up to in real life.
In real life, I've been playing the Battlefield 6 open beta. That's my current real life. It's pretty sweet. I like it very much. Besides that, I'm a professional comic book artist and writer. I'm freelance, so I work for Marvel, DC, Image, all the big companies, and I've drawn Batman, I've drawn Spider-Man, I've drawn Spawn, and I've written Red Sonja and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and a bunch of other stuff, and I make my own books as well, Mobster Mash and Outbreaks, and yeah, I'm a comic book guy, but I do love my Batman the Animated Series. Been watching since I was a kid. I would say, though, that my brother is the biggest Batman the Animated Series fan that I know.
Yeah, I love the series. Obviously, that's why we do the podcast about it. And my brother not only likes the show and watched it a lot as kids, as he said, but my brother's the funniest guy I know. So I thought he would be great to have on as my co-host, as well as being a comic book artist. So there's loads of stuff we chat around his life day to day. But as far as the animated series, yeah, I mean, it's the definitive Batman, always has been for me and always will be. I don't think now, I'm almost 40 and I don't think there's going to be a Batman that comes along that tops this show. I'm happy with that.
Unless we make a Batman, then it will be better.
I love that.
That's true. We did write a lot of Batman fan fiction, back in the day.
Yeah. And our opening scene was like just the intro to Batman the Animated Series. Do you remember that? Where he was taking down the two thugs, but it was like in his brain as he's like talking about the city and all this shit.
Yeah, the narration. Yeah, that was good fun. Yeah. So obviously we're stupid fans, but we also like to make fun of the stupid stuff. Like any show that you love, there's always going to be things that you see that make you smile or you can question. And that's what we do on our podcast. It's not just analyzing scene for scene and just talking about it beat for beat, because everyone that listens to the show has probably seen the animated series at some point in their life. If they haven't, that's wild to me, but I don't see a point of going over scene for scene, minute for minute and breaking it down like that, because people want to hear what you think about it and, the things that you love or you notice or the fun facts about the show. So I've obviously learned a hell of a lot doing the podcast about the animated series with all the deep dives that we do. And yeah, it's just, enhanced my love for it even more.
Well, it's just such a fun show to listen to. As you mentioned, you guys are both hilarious. It's really lighthearted. I just can't recommend it enough. I was hoping maybe you could just spotlight a couple episodes that for people who maybe haven't checked out your show, either just episode recaps or some of the interviews you've done. that people might want to check out?
For me, episodes that stand out as far as being some of my favorites, we do a top three. It hasn't moved in quite a while, and that's Almost Got 'Em, The Laughing Fish, and Joker's Favor. Those top three, and we have to agree, both of us, if we're going to move one off. It can't be I like it, so on it goes. So
I think you
being
were saying top three of our own show. I think that's what he meant.
Yeah, you could
Of
do
our own
both
show.
also. I mean, in episodes as well as your own podcast episodes.
I would say
That's
from our
fair.
own podcast, we've had Paul Dini on 2-3 times, I believe, and his insight into like Harley Quinn and all this stuff. I learned so much stuff that I never knew before, and we've had loads of writers and directors, and it's just those are my favorite episodes. When we have people on the show that created the show, I mean, that's unbeatable.
Yeah. And then if you want to laugh, anything to do with Two-Face, you probably end up having a laugh because we do find that character, as much as we love him, we do explore his obsession quite a bit.
I love your guys' Two-Face impression on your show. Absolutely. It cracks me up every time.
The giant penny,
The
how did he get in
duality
the
of
back
that
cave?
character. Yeah.
Yeah.
Duality. I like it.
So good. Yeah.
We're cooking. Yeah,
Let's
baby.
go. Yeah, definitely check out their podcast. It's just it's a fantastic listen for anyone who's a fan of superhero films, and obviously all of us grew up on the TV show, so I think everyone will really enjoy it. Our podcast is obviously a little more focused on the films, and so this season we're going through the first 4 and now 5 Batman films. Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. A true mixed bag among these films, I would say. But I'm curious to each of you, which one of those is your favorite personally? Maybe, Will, we can start with you.
My favorite of the pre Nolan ones?
Pre-Dark Knight trilogy, yeah.
It's 89. I mean, that it's the vibe of that show. I mean, that's like Batman animated series is based off of the mise en scène of that show. So it's just got such a great vibe. I mean, it's Tim Burton at his prime before he was not so prime. And then Jack Nicholson as the Joker, unbeatable. Like, what a casting get. And Michael Keaton, which was like, he's basically like the Heath Ledger hiring, where you're like, Heath Ledger as the Joker, oh, that's gonna be shit. Michael Keaton and both of them absolutely knocked it out of the park. So that's 89 for sure. And like all the toys and the merchandise and the Batman Fever in 89 and just that gold bat logo, like it's the best.
Yeah, they sold $750 million of merchandise that summer that movie came out, which is
Good Lord,
insane in
Yeah,
1989
crazy.
numbers. How
Didn't
about you,
Nicholson
Alex?
get 10%? Didn't Nicholson
Yeah, I think he
get 10%
did.
of that?
Yeah, that's the rumor. I think the rumor is he netted somewhere between $50 and $90 million for his appearance. And you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was laughing all the way to the bank. Mike had a fun fact that apparently he loved his performance in hindsight and would like often throw it on at home just to
Like
show his
weekly.
friends, like, I'm cooking in this movie. Let's check it out again, which I love to think
Sweet.
about.
That's awesome.
Look at what
Yeah,
I'm
it's
doing
amazing.
here. Look at how great I am in this scene. Just, I love the imagery of it.
Commence or festival.
So good. Alex, how about you? Which is your top film of the first 4?
Without repeating everything my brother just said, it is Batman 89. Fell in love with that
It's
movie.
Forever.
No, it's not as good as Forever isn't as good as 89.
When I think of Batman Forever, I think of you.
Yeah, I know, but
You
that
watched
doesn't
that
mean...
movie so much as a kid that the tape burnt out because
Yes,
you watched
I
it
know.
every single day.
Specifically the
buddy?
Nicole
You know
Kidman
what?
scenes, I think, right? You're just...
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No, that was the
I
Batman
mean,
Returns
that was Batman Returns.
VHS, and you couldn't get that
out.
out the cardboard anymore after he was done with it.
So look, 89 is superior, but for the sake of not repeating everything my brother just said, I just want to focus on Forever and give it a shout out because it is
Because it's your favorite.
a very close second. It's not my favorite. Shut the fuck up. So it is
his
literally one
favorite.
of those. It's one of those movies where it came at the perfect time for me, and it was like directed at kids my age, and I just fell in love with that movie. I loved Val Kilmer as Batman, underrated Batman, underrated suit.
I agree, yeah.
I really like the change in direction, even though it was ridiculous. And yeah, in hindsight, obviously, it's kind of like Batman 66 on acid, but it is enjoyable. It's good fun. Like, I like Jim Carrey's Riddler. I liked just the whole plot. Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face, I mean, not my favorite by any stretch, but he makes choices in that movie that make me laugh. Yeah, as he like closes the elevator door and stuff.
Yeah.
It's such a throwaway moment, but for me, it stands out. And yeah, I did. My parents would punish me by taking away that movie when I was a kid if I had done something wrong to teach me a lesson.
I
So
would
Wow.
hear from a closed bedroom door. There used to be a doctor. He's by himself.
It is an all-time banger. I will say that. I think that is the probably the greatest. I mean, with respect to Prince, obviously in those songs in the first Batman, I think Seal's "Kiss from a Rose." It's a certain point you can't tell if you enjoy something ironically or sincerely, and that's where I've gotten with that song. It just comes on, and I'm just like belting it out along with it. It's a great choice.
yeah.
I'm a little defensive on Batman Returns at this point because Mike and I just did that episode. I actually think it's superior to Batman. It's difficult because, as we've all discussed, these movies have such personal qualities to us. I was 10 when the first Batman came out, which was like the perfect age and was literally like life changing. It's the origin story for why we're even doing this podcast. That being said, I was 13 when Batman Returns comes out. So you can imagine there were some feelings
Yeah.
that I had. And I think
And still have.
having still have
Were you making
frankly.
penguin noises like as you were like
The funny
fumbling
thing
around?
is my brother's the same way, except he was 5 when it came out, and it was like his sexual awakening as a 5-year-old. He like turned into like
Wow, early
the
bloomer.
penguin horn dog at like 5.
Yeah,
He was trying to
It
smooch
really,
all the girls in the neighborhood.
it really
I mean,
changed
it-
my life. No joke. It was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
it-
both of you change your life, but there's just like a good 8-year difference between you. One's appropriate, one is way too young.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a better all around film. I think the script is just a little bit stronger, but it's like
Was.
you can't. I mean, I just don't think it's possible to really like extract your own feelings and sentiments and judge these things that we hold so dear to our heart. But yeah, I'm giving the slight edge to Batman Returns personally. Mike was definitely not on board with that one.
Yeah, that one's a little unhinged for my taste, I think, too. And it's a lot of the dirty, sexual innuendos and things kind of threw me off balance when I was watching it again
It's a
this
horny
time.
movie.
It's a
Yeah.
super horny movie for sure.
Yeah.
I kind of fall halfway
Was he
between.
say like, "There's the pussy I've been looking for"? You're like,
Yeah, he
"Whoa,
does.
guy!"
Yeah, like
He's
whoa,
like, "What?
not,
Limited
Pussy
poo
cat?
tang?
She's a cat. Come on,
not
guy.
even not even innuendo, just like straight out, just like filthy line.
He's just like, "I'm horny," and you're like, "Oh, we know. Look at you,
Teacher my French flipper trick. That's
Oh
like
yeah,
oh
two in
man.
the pink,
It's really one
It's
big
just
one.
may as well. Yeah, may as well.
Have you
be.
heard
one
of
in the
Star
pink,
Trek?
one in the."
Have you heard of the
I'm
crossover.
sorry. I don't know. I don't know how your podcast goes. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear and make crude jokes on here.
That's
Go for
true.
it.
We should have asked
Okay,
beforehand.
You know,
Yeah. Okay.
the at the end of the day, I think when it comes to the animated episodes, we've got to make this one the explicit one out of all of them. It's just truly, it's wholesome stuff in the others, but no, it's all good.
I kind of fall halfway though between I think Alex and Will. I definitely have a soft spot for Batman Forever. That was kind of like a regular family-friendly movie in my household, where we'd watch it, Saturday evenings. But I think on these recent rewatches, like, of course, Batman 1989 is just so freaking classic. Like, how can you
Yeah.
say no to that movie?
The score, just to point it out, like
The score,
the
which was-
reason Batman the Animated Series has its score again.
Yeah.
Danny Elfman just rocking the shit out of that movie with the score. Amazing.
Yeah, it's the greatest superhero score of all time with respect to John Williams and Superman, which is obviously iconic. And I think they're close, but to me, it's just clearly Batman.
And they are close as well. I would say that it's like this.
Yeah, I mean, they both evoke the qualities of the heroes in the actual music itself, which is something that's kind of phenomenal. When you hear those songs, you actually can envision like that would be the exact theme for that person. So I thought maybe what we could do to start off would be just kind of maybe ranking some of the characters in the live action versions of those films against their counterparts in the animated series. Obviously, Batman being the first character, but there's 3 different versions of Batman to go through. So I guess maybe if you could pick who you think, presuming that you guys, I think you mentioned, and feel free to correct me here, but it seems like you consider the animated versions of these characters in your minds kind of the definitive Batman characters. So I think what we were kind of thinking here is, give us a scale of like 1 to 10. You can use the decimals like you do on your show of how closely the live action counterparts get to your platonic ideal of the characters, the animated series. So Let's start
Okay.
with Batman. I think it's probably safe to assume. I know you mentioned that you think Val Kilmer is underrated. I agree with that, but it's got to be Keaton, right? Is probably the closest here. Feel free to disagree,
I
but
100% agree. You know what? There's a cool factor with Batman, and he gets less cool as the movies go on, I think, with every new actor that comes in. And
That's a really good
Keaton,
point. Yeah.
Keaton just landed like when he would say a line, you were like, "Fuck yeah, Batman!" You know, you're like, "Yeah." But
Yeah.
there's no line that George Clooney and Val Kilmer does where I'm like, "Yeah, Batman." I'm like, "All right,
American
sure."
Express card, never leave home without it,
Oh goodness gracious!
man.
I'll get drive through. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, his
No.
lines are terrible. I agree with that
Yeah, yeah.
completely.
The big thing, obviously, that holds Keaton back is that he murders people straight up, which is fun. I like in Batman Returns when he kills a bunch of clowns. Like I'm having a good time, but I'm also like, yeah, that's not fucking Batman. Batman doesn't do that shit.
it was a point of
We had a pretty,
contention.
yeah, we had
Yeah,
an in-depth conversation about
yeah,
that.
it's a point of contention for sure. How about Alfred? Where do you think Alfred in the film version compares to the animated version?
I think that the only film version that I liked was from the first four films because he was a posh old guy, and to me, that's Alfred. It's a posh old guy. I don't like cool fucking blimey, mate. It's me, fucking Alfred. I'm gonna here to sweep your chimney. Like that's not what I want from Alfred. Or like I used to be an SAS Marine, and now I've given all that up so I can dust your fucking pants and shit. Like that makes no sense to me. I hate that about that character. Like I was well hard, and I was out there, and I've seen a lot of action, a lot of line of duty, and now I clean duty regularly out of Master Wade's toilet. It's much better. Like, it makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah. No, it's a good
Um,
point. I mean, I would say Michael Gough, yeah, is definitely the best Alfred out of all of those. And a really close second to the animated series. Like, I think probably maybe besides Nicholson's Joker is going to be the closest to the animated series out of all the live action characters. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I've
I'd agree.
noticed too, just watching some of the episodes of the series and the movie and then comparing it to, especially I would say Batman Returns, they serve a similar function in that oftentimes Alfred is the comic relief. He's the guy
Yeah.
that has the quippy one-liners. He's kind of clowning on Batman a little bit. He can kind of puncture holes in his ego when he's getting a little too dark or brooding. Yeah, I totally agree that this is kind of the
Well, it's
definitive Alfred in my
because
mind.
that's what English people do. We like you were saying at the beginning of the podcast. It's like we rib each other big time to the point where I've had conversations with Americans where they're like, "You are bullying each other." It's like, no, this is all out of love, and I think that's
You
what
piece of shit.
yeah, you fat ball cunt. But like it's like grounding and it shows like Alfred's affection for him. I kind of like that an idea of Alfred making fun of Batman a lot, being like, "Oh, you're so cool and brooding in the dark," like taking the piss. Like, come on, mate. Like, I
I
don't
Totally.
loved I loved his line in Phantasm at the beginning where he's like, "You're the very model of sanity. By the way, I've pressed your tights and I hung up your gas balls for you."
Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
great line. Yeah, I
he's
mean,
great.
Ephraim Zimbalist, he's got all the best lines, you know. She must love mud baths, referring to the lady with clay face, you know, and just there's so much good stuff there. But Michael Gough, he has that sassiness and that sort of posh raised eyebrow. You know what? Roger Moore and Alfred need to
Mm,
be the same. You know what I mean? Like Roger Moore's
Interesting.
old man Roger Moore would have been a perfect Alfred because
I
there's just
agree.
this
That's
like
cool.
charm and like sophistication, but also I've got some sass and I'm, you know, and I know how to throw it out. Yeah,
And
I
I
think
used to be
Michael
a
Gough.
secret agent for my spare time, but now I hang up your tights.
Did you ever watch
Exactly.
Pennyworth?
God no.
No, I never did. No, I never watched it. No, not my
It's
thing.
rough. It's
Yeah, I'm
got its
sure.
moments. They have some cool production design. It's kind of the steampunk kind of setting, which is sort of cool, but yeah, it's pretty goofy.
Someone's like,
So
"Hey, you
moving
want
on,
to watch a steampunk Alfred show?" I'd be like, "I'm good, thank you."
Yeah, no thanks. That sounds awful to
seriously.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little rough. Moving on to more of the heroic characters. What about Robin? Obviously, Chris O'Donnell just ate so much shit for that, and I think there's a reason why we haven't seen Robin again in the films. It's very, very difficult to kind of have the Dick Grayson iteration of the character on film. I mean, do you guys disagree with Chris O'Donnell, and what are your takes on Robin in the animated series?
I love Robin
Um,
in the animated series.
yeah.
I think he's charming and fun, and I do like the dynamic of Alfred and Robin more trying to have a normal life and then also help with crime. Robin is not fully committed to the war and crime like Bruce is. Like
Yeah, definitely.
Batman's alter ego is Bruce Wayne, but Dick Grayson's alter ego as Robin. So like he knows how to like live and have fun. They, as we saw in the last episode that we reviewed, they go to comedy shows together, which I think is rather sweet. You know, they're like, "Don't tell Bruce, we're gonna go to a comedy show tonight." Oh yeah, I'll record it. Yeah, like I like that. Yeah, and he's just like, he's not annoying. He's not an annoying little kid or anything like that. He's a good character, and I just think that Chris O'Donnell, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that he suits the vibe of the 90s, right? He's like, yeah, put his fingers up, like, yeah, anti-authority, like, yeah, I guess I'll go live in a mansion, you know, but I'm gonna steal the bike and I'm gonna pretend that I'm Batman. Like, he's so 90s. Like, he should have a backwards cap and like a skateboard at one point as well, I think.
I'm gonna do kung fu
Yeah.
while doing the laundry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
exactly. And play Red Hot Chili Peppers or something sweet, man. You know, like that's that vibe.
Spot on. I think the other thing about Robin in the animated series, I love his costume. Just adding the black underneath just really
Yeah.
gave that actually, because and you watch the 66, he's funny, but he is like the super cornball. And it just, there's not really a good way to make those color schemes look anything but very, very cheesy. And I think in the animated series, I was like, why does this look so great? It's that black underneath the outside of yellow. It just looks amazing. So
It
any
does,
thoughts on
yeah.
Batgirl? We can breeze past her pretty quickly if you want, but yeah, Alicia Silverstone, that's another one that's just really rough.
Literally, you know, very forgettable. So yeah, I mean, it would be very low on the list. Yeah, not
Great.
much else to
Best
say on
version of Batgirl is obviously in the Batman the animated series, though, that's for sure.
100%. Now, I think there's two spots for me where the animated series character is just leagues and leagues ahead of live action. First one I would say is Commissioner Gordon. With respect to, I can't remember the actor's name at this moment, but
Pat Hingle.
there we go. Pat Hingle just doesn't have a lot to do in the first two films. He has a slightly bigger role in the other ones, but
And he's not very Gordon like. He's like when he's like gambling and stuff, he feels more like Harvey Bullock got the job as commissioner, you know?
That's great.
Yeah.
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 yeah, and I mean, I think that some of the later iterations are great. I mean, Gary Oldman's amazing in that role, but I don't know. I think this Commissioner Gordon in the animated series may be pretty close to the definitive one in my mind as well.
I love that he's almost like a radio teleplay kind of character, the way that he voices it, you know, he's like, you don't know what you're talking about. We got to get Batman involved. He's not the one who's killing people, you know, like he's got that kind of mid-Atlantic accent going on.
Yeah.
And
I still remember my
yeah, go
wife
ahead.
seeing it for the first time, being like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "That's Commissioner Gordon." She's like, "He can get it." I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, he's got like a Magnum PI thing going on."
Totally.
And I was
does.
Total
like,
Silver
"Oh my
Fox, yeah.
god!" I was like, "Yeah, he is kind of fit. I never realized it before." And I was like, "Don't stick around when they change animation style because you're gonna hate it a lot." Because talk about a downgrade. He got nerfed hard in the new one.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
This leads us to the Joker, which I think just the animated version, Mark Hamill, for fans who are just more into film, may not realize that iconic Jedi Mark Hamill was also the voice of the Joker on Batman the Animated Series. I think it's really iconic. I mean, we talked a lot in our first episode. The Joker is one of only a handful of characters where two separate actors have won Oscars for playing that role. He's truly like an iconic film villain, I believe. Mark Hamill's take is just very unique. Can you guys maybe talk a little bit about what is special about Hamill's performance in particular?
So the Joker's my favorite character of all time in anything. Like he is the ultimate my favorite because he just blends so much stuff that I love. But I guess he's open to interpretation in many ways. But my perfect Joker, which is very much in the animated series, is that I see him as a shark in the water. And it's like you're just swimming along and then you're like suddenly out of nowhere there's this shark. But it doesn't bite you immediately. It starts circling you and you are petrified because you're just like, I know what's going on. It starts playing with you, but you just know that it can attack at any point. And that's how I really feel in that episode, Joker's Favor, when he sees him in the car and he's following him. Like that's just literally seeing a shark in the water following you. But he's a great white shark. But the thing about Mark Hamill that makes him the best Joker is he's actually funny. So many interpretations of the Joker are just not funny. They're just like cracking jokes, and they're really playing into the Killing Joke idea of like he was a failed comedian. I'm like, yeah, I know, because he's fucking not funny. Like, and he's like terribly unfunny. But Mark Hamill's Joker genuinely gets me laughs, as does Heath Ledger's Joker as well, and Jack Nicholson's too. So he genuinely has to be a funny guy, but also just a thug as well. Like he is a mafioso, like hitman, and that's what I love about the Phantasm version of him is they gave him for the first time a backstory where he's just this guy that works for the mob and like takes people out like a thug, and I just love that for the Joker, you know? Like I think that's really really cool.
It's his
I
voice too,
mean,
man. It's
yeah.
got to be
Oh
his
yeah, obviously,
voice. His
Yeah.
laugh, just that screeching, piercing
Yeah.
laugh that he does is just it's just engraved in my memory so much. Like shoot that into my veins all the time. Mark Hamill's Joker is just an incredible voice cast.
Let's talk about Catwoman. I think we've established my own personal affinity for the film version of the character and Michelle Pfeiffer's performance. What do you guys think about the animated version of Catwoman? And what is it about her character that's it's kind of special on the show?
I enjoy the animated version of her, though. As we've been rewatching the show, I've been like, "Oh wow, I really have not been enjoying the Catwoman episodes that much." But I do like the version of the character. I like that she's sort of like a super liberal, more for the animals, like that type of character. I think it suits her vibe. That, but she's also like a burglar in the sense of that. But she's not super burglary in the show, compared to every other version of the Catwoman. She's just more like an animal rights activist, and like I like that she's rich as well, and like she owns all these cats, and she just has this great old school femme fatale presence to her. I'm ready for my close up, like that type of vibe to her that you don't see in any other versions of the character.
Just to add to that as well, she is based off of only just by blonde hair alone, Michelle Pfeiffer, but everything else is a complete redo on that character for the animated
Yeah.
series, even though it's supposed to be tied in with Batman Returns, which was coming out, around the same time this show premiered. Same with the Penguin. Look, yes, but acting and everything else completely different, which I'm sure we'll get into. But yeah, I think she is a great Catwoman, and what a voice! Like just so, like silk, like that. I could listen to. She could convince me to turn to crime with that voice. She's it's great.
Yeah, she's a great foil for Batman in that respect, and there's always a seduction between the two of them, and I think like a dance that's going on. You definitely feel that in the show too. For me, I have to say, Penguin on the show. I know that Danny DeVito's take on that character is probably the most radically different from the comic books of all these different characters in the films. I'd love it. I think he was just such a genius. What's your take on Penguin in the show? Where does he rank relative to Danny DeVito to you?
I used to not be a big Penguin guy growing up. I was never really into the character. I think I'm more, as an adult, really enjoy the character. The thing I like about this Penguin from the cartoon is, I mean, look, I love Danny DeVito's Penguin. He did his own thing with it. I just love Danny DeVito in general. It's just Danny DeVito. It's Frank Reynolds cranked to like 8,000. It's just great.
Totally.
But the cartoon version, like, I love this man that's like of upper class and is trying to fit in, and like all of his capers are he's trying to steal like this expensive like Fabergé egg, and like there's my favorite Penguin episodes is when he's tricked by the high society people into thinking that he has a shot with this girl. That's just really fun. And Penguin's such a great character because he doesn't go to Arkham, right? He's not an insane person, because most of Batman's villains are insane. He is just a normal guy. And my favorite thing is when he sort of goes back more into society, like in that episode, and especially when he opens the Iceberg Lounge. That's my favorite version of the Penguin, because he's like, this is my business, this is my club. Like, I let stuff go on here. I'm done trying to, steal giant warships and blow up the city. I'm more about pouring cocktails and hanging out, baby. This is the way to make money.
It's his vocabulary too. He's so verbose, he's one of the smartest guys in the room kind of thing. And he's so incredibly well written in this version of it too. And he wants to be classy, but it's the crime is what kind of keeps him from being like a classy cocktail sipping kind of guy, but the same kind of shark in the water, a little bit as you described with Joker, but
Hey, he's the penguin in the water.
he's the penguin in the
Hey!
water. That's right.
Yeah,
Um,
rewatching these episodes, I really like the one where Penguin figures out who Batman's mechanic is and shows up at the garage. And I was like, I'd never really considered that. You gotta have someone to fix the Batmobile when it gets into accidents. And if you can look at the source of these parts and be like, oh, wait a minute, this guy's fixing the Batmobile. I thought that was a very clever episode. I really enjoyed it.
And was
Let's-
written before they knew Batman Returns was going to do the same thing, taking control of the Batmobile, because Penguin does the
interesting.
same thing in that episode. But they went to go see some of the producers and writers went to go see Batman Returns, and they're like, "We've done this." Like, what? So yeah, it's just a coincidence that it happened. But yeah, he's great.
doesn't he in that episode too? Doesn't he punch through the floor the same way?
it's not the floor, but yeah, it's very similar. He even uses like the scan the Batmobile console to
Yeah.
find out where the device is and stuff. Yeah, it's super similar.
That's an interesting insight. I didn't realize that. All right, let's talk about Two-Face. This is one where the animated version is just so far beyond. With respect to Tommy Lee Jones, who's an amazing actor and really is committed, to your point. He's not phoning it in. I think on the show, he's a really tragic figure. And I really rewatching that two-part episode where he's bipolar, or I don't know if they identify his mental illness specifically, but the fact that he was already kind of had the split personality before the accident was, I believe they came up with that kind of arc for the show. I
Yeah.
thought it just really enhanced the character. Big fan of Two-Face on the animated series.
It's the greatest version. It annoys me today that DC Comics still makes his hair and head like red or green. I'm like, just do blue. It's the iconic look that so many of us are used to, and it looks the best. Like, why are we still making red and green? Like, it looks stupid. I hate that so much. That's my own little pet peeve with it. But no, it is the best version. My God, the acting for this character is astounding, and the flipping between Harvey and Two-Face. It's just and the costume, the design. It is one of my top favorite, if not my top favorite, villains from the show.
Yeah, and in comparison to Tommy Lee Jones, night and day. Oh, night and day, two.
Ooh, good
But
duality.
See what you did there.
but the entire Batman Forever character, even though it's been Schumacherified and like exaggerated, and Tommy Lee Jones made crazy choices, a lot of those scenes are again ripped off the animated series. It's like Spider-Man the animated series paved the way for things like Whistler and Blade being a thing. The animated series for Batman did the same thing for these types of characters like Two-Face, where suddenly people are like, "Whoa, Two-Face is actually really complex and a really cool villain. We got to put him in a movie." And that's why there's, a lot of duality with Tommy Lee Jones's one. They take it way too far with the half and half room and the two girls, Drew Barrymore, and, I can't remember the other one. But there's the multiple coins being thrown up in the air to confuse him. That's straight out of Two-Face Part 2. There's so many scenes in Batman Forever and characteristics of Two-Face that is just straight up. I mean, even Schumacher said, like, oh, yeah, I actually took a lot from Batman, the animated series, to make these movies. And it shows.
I'm convinced that this is Bruce Timm's favorite character. I'm pretty sure I saw a photo of a Halloween party that they threw for the cast and crew of the animated series, and he was dressed up as the animated Two-Face with the blue face and the white hair and everything.
That's great.
And then I know there was a comic that he wrote where he's rehabilitated
Yeah.
and then he falls in love with a girl and then oops, she has a twin. And it's like he keeps falling back into that duality trap. He can't get away
Twins.
from it. That's right. and she's an evil twin, so it brings that
Oh,
that
yes,
bad
she
side
is.
out of him. Yeah.
So every time, well, hang on. Every time Two-Face goes to bed with a lady, does that mean he's having a threesome? Technically, is that how that works?
Second base only.
We defer to the experts.
I had this in my notes. I was going to bring it up later, but yeah, if we want to explore this in depth. The
He's
Riddler,
not bi though.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not. No.
I am for the name.
Yeah, let's talk about the Riddler too. This was a pretty controversial casting decision, I think, at the time. I feel like Robin Williams would have been amazing. He obviously was gunning for the role of the Joker, and that didn't work out. And so I think he wasn't really interested in going back. Jim Carrey, people may not realize, he was like at the peak of his celebrity at this point. I mean, it was almost like probably the biggest star in this film when it came out in terms of just box office and what the buzz was culturally. I think he does a pretty good job, although I think Jim Carrey, obviously in hindsight, would have been an amazing Joker, right? I think he could have like probably hit a grand slam, honestly, if they had given him that role. He does a
You kind of
good
see
job.
it in The Mask. The Mask is like his best tryout for the Joker. I would say, in like
Yeah.
outfits and style, and like the zaniness of that Joker would definitely be that. I think he would go for more of like a 66. Again, I guess that's what Schumacher was going for as well, was like Batman 66, but for 90s. I think that's, what Carrey would have done with the Joker as well, probably.
Yeah, and the character in the show is a lot more riddle focused, for lack of a better term. He is kind of the smart guy. I think it's a pretty big disparity. I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on the animated version of the Riddler.
The animated version of the Riddler, hands down, is the best version of Riddler. Nothing comes close. The comic books don't come close. The movies don't come close.
So even
Animations,
over
anything.
the Batman as well, you think?
Oh, I'm not a fan of that film at all. So yeah, Incel Riddler does nothing for me because my version of Riddler, why I love it with Batman the animated series, is that he's suave. He thinks that he knows everything more than you. That everything's a game to him. It's something that I think gets lost with the character. Everyone thinks that he's like this obsessive, creepy guy that is going to do riddles, and like I think when Saw came out, it confused people of like, oh, he's going to do like riddles that kill people and stuff like that. I'm like, no, no, no. My version of Riddler is a suave, sophisticated guy that went to private school, that is, thinks that he's upper class, he's better than everybody else. Everyone is so stupid compared to him. So I'm just gonna do some riddles. You'll never figure them out because you are an idiot, and I am so clever. Ha 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 ha. That's the Riddler to me. Not like he wrote this thing, and if you don't solve it, then all the children will die in Gotham. Like no, it's just that's not for me. And as we joked on our show about it. The Riddler pulls. He is a guy that gets laid, and that's what I love about the Riddler is that I could just see him going around, pulling. And he's like, women are a riddle, and I've sold it, baby. So like, let's keep this train rolling.
Well said, yeah.
And
He still doesn't. He still doesn't know where the clitoris is, though. I think that riddle's
yeah,
still
that's one riddle I'll never be able to solve.
He's not alone in that, unfortunately, for the women in the world. But yeah, he is, and he's built. His physique is quite strong too. He has just like really broad shoulders in the show. He's just a very different take.
Zoot suit, kinda.
No,
Totally.
not really.
Yeah.
Just big shoulders.
I thought it has those square shoulders, a little
No,
zoot
Joker's wearing a zoot suit because he's got
That's
the,
true,
like,
he
the
is,
tails
yeah.
and stuff like that, and the baggy
Right.
trousers. That's zoot suit. Don't you know your suits, buddy? Jeez.
Oh man.
I didn't know I was
Shots
speaking to a
fired.
suit expert.
No,
What the fuck?
he looks like an Avenger, and by that I mean like the old '60s.
Yes,
Avengers
this is
and
the bowling,
hats
the
and
bowler
stuff.
hat. Yeah, totally.
It so suits his vibe.
I think the worst. I mean, he's up there for worst villains in comic book film history. I would say Schwarzenegger is Mr. Freeze. I mean, what an absolutely catastrophic casting decision. I say this as a huge, huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. He was undeniably, I would say, the biggest action star in the world. Maybe even just the biggest movie star from about the mid '80s through Terminator 2 in the early '90s, and then just kind of had a series of misses. And by the time he's signing on for Batman and Robin, it almost felt sad. I remember at the time, like, man, your fortune has fallen to the point that you got to do a Batman movie to try to get your career back on track. It's not even just the sort of stunt casting that bothers me. I think the iteration of this character is frankly like insulting to the incredible story arc that his character gets in the animated series. I would put him at the bottom of this list in terms of live action to animated characters. I would assume you guys are probably pretty close.
I put him above Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy because I think that there's a lot of fun. Like you could tell that Arnold's having a great time making that movie, and there's a silliness. Like, is it the Mr. Freeze we wanted? No, but maybe it was the one we needed at the time because I had a lot of fun. He has so many ice puns. The idea that Mr. Freeze is like a big Jack guy is just so funny to me.
A big Austrian Jack guy.
Yeah, it's just like whatever he says. But Poison Ivy, I just, my God, I feel like, and I love Uma Thurman, but I just feel like her acting in that film is bizarre. Choices were being made that just felt like this is Batman 66, like this is made for TV, children's entertainment.
Dutch tilts all the way. There was a Dutch tilt every couple minutes in that movie. Yeah, I dig Schwarzenegger's Freeze for the ridiculousness, but would definitely not rate him high. The other thing I give Batman and Robin credit for, they're using Nora in the tank, and he's trying to cure her disease, which is what Alfred ends up getting. So yeah,
Nora. Nora, I hardly know her. She's my wife.
But yeah, I mean, again, that's animated series, right? They're just stealing, what Paul Dini did in Heart of Ice. Another character where people are like, "Oh shit, Mr. Freeze is suddenly cool and complex. Let's put him in a movie now."
He's cool.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah.
He's like a snowflake.
He's almost like a Shakespearean tragic figure in the show.
Yeah.
It's so just excellent the way that they wrote him. I love it. And every time they bring him back too, there's always an added layer to his story a little bit.
I'm even more depressed now.
I'm even more depressed.
I've lost all my limbs. I'm just a head.
I'm Jesus
yeah,
that's right. In the Batman Beyond episode. Yeah, that's amazing.
I live forever, but I'll be forever alone. Oh fuck.
This
great.
guy's
I like-
not cool.
I like emo music now. My Chemical Romance is my favorite band. Carry on. I don't want to carry on.
Well, with that, I
With
think it's a
that.
perfect segue for us to actually jump into discussing Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm and the Tale of the Cape. So this is just some production details and specifics about what happened as they made the film. Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm was released Christmas Day. I was a little surprised by that. It's thought maybe Batman Returns, we decided, is a Christmas movie officially. But yeah, it came out Christmas Day, 1993. Was really curious to ask you guys, would you consider the production crew on this film kind of an all-star team up of the animated series? You had Eric Radomowski and Bruce Timm as co-directors, and then Alan Burnett, who you interviewed for this film on your podcast. Excellent interview, by the way, Alex. I really got a lot out of that. I thought he was a very interesting
thanks,
guy.
man.
So Alan Burnett, Paul Dini, Martin Pasco, and Michael Reeves are credited with the screenplay. Would you guys consider this to be just kind of a murderer's row of talent from the animated series?
Yeah, besides Paul Dini not being in there, as we may or may not know, the reason he wasn't involved was because he was mugged and almost killed one night, and he went into recovery slash quite an isolated time period, and even wrote a comic or graphic novel about it, which shows from his
It's very good.
perspective. It's really good, and literally he's visited by characters from Batman that represent like certain emotions that you can feel or certain stages of depression, which is really interesting. So yeah, he stepped away from being part of Phantasm, and the only involvement he had was writing certain Joker lines, and I think that's when that character shines the most, is when Paul Dini's behind writing that character. And the Joker in Phantasm, not only his lines but just the way he is 100% the best version of Mark Hamill's Joker, which I guess is the definitive Joker, what we're saying, ever.
100% best Joker ever on screen is in this movie, I think. It's the best version of
Yeah.
the character. It's the best Mark Hamill version of the character. It's just the best. He's so great. He ticks all my boxes of being that creepy shark where he shows up out of nowhere, and he's very funny and just evil and a gangster, and it's perfect.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. And I didn't realize that Dini was responsible specifically for Joker stuff. It's kind of an interesting insight there. To me, the other part in terms of the production and the crew on this film that really stands out to me and really stands out, I think, across all the animated series, Shirley Walker's score. I mean, she is just a phenomenal talent. I didn't realize until doing some research for this episode that she was actually the conductor and orchestrator of Danny Elfman's Batman theme. I didn't
wow.
realize. Yeah, so she's the one that orchestrated all the arrangements and then conducted the orchestra itself. So she was involved with the creation of that theme, which we've already praised quite a bit. But her ability to riff on that iconic theme and make it something different, something her own. I don't have enough music knowledge to really understand exactly what she did, but it feels like it might be in a slightly different key, or there's just a couple notes that have been shifted around. But she's just a phenomenal composer, and I think the choral beginning over the opening credits on this is like maybe the best music I've heard in the animated series. I mean, it really gives me chill bumps. It's a beautiful thing. Can you guys just talk a little bit about her impact not only on this film but the animated series as well?
Yeah, I'm huge into the score of Batman the Animated Series and this movie, so absolutely Shelley Walker is a standout. The theme, just to comment on what you were saying, was basically taking the bass notes of the Danny Elfman theme, and it's removing every other note, and then she slows it down. So instead of da 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 da, you got oh da da da. So it changed it in a different order, but and obviously and pacing, but it's still the base of that
So
song.
completely
So-
different notes and different
That's
pacing.
brilliant. That's such a brilliant thing to do. Every other note. That's amazing.
Fascinating. Yeah.
But yeah, the chorus at the beginning is everyone singing in another language, or maybe it's backwards, but it's the surnames of every single person that's involved in the making of this movie. That's what the chorus is just them singing like Radomski but backwards, or like in another language or whatever, and that's how they did that. Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
Shelley Walker is an amazing composer. She has done some films like Final Destination 3. I mean, not
Yeah,
that
I
that's
didn't
on
realize
that.
anyone's
Yeah,
yeah,
she
but
did the Final
yeah,
Destination scores too. Yeah.
they're fun. And yeah, she, we lost her too soon. She passed many years ago now, but she had a roster of composers that would work on the show that carried on, that Shirley vibe. And yeah, I loved the score in Phantasm. I love the score in Batman the Animated Series. I listen to it all the time. And it definitely brings brings it to another level, really, in my mind.
I think it's iconic music, and I didn't realize that they recorded original music for each episode as well. That like all of this was there was some I'm sure that they reused, but the fact that they actually had a full orchestra scoring these episodes, the music I think is just one of the best things about it, and the sound design in general I think on the show is so cool. The way all the different sounds are just amazing in this film and in the series as well. I'm curious, like we talk a little bit about box office on our show. This movie flopped, which is insane to me, given how popular Batman was at the time. I think if I remember right, I mean, I was kind of a teenager. I think it just didn't really get marketed well, really kind of the issue
Yeah.
there. But, it's actually gone on, I think, to become, I guess if it was a flop, technically, it makes it a cult film since it didn't do well. But I was really interested to look. So I checked out the Rotten Tomato scores for all of the Batman films that we're discussing, the first five, including Phantasm. This has not only the highest critic score on Rotten Tomatoes at 83%, but it has the highest audience score as well of the first five. I thought that was really telling that, this movie may not have succeeded at the box office, but it has certainly gone on to become, I think, a beloved part of the Batman entertainment universe. Do you guys have thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it was a sleeper. No one went to go see it. It didn't even show in the UK around Christmas time. I know that. And it came out like for a very limited release. And in the US, there were only certain theaters that were showing it. It wasn't like it was just all over the country. Very limited run. It was originally going to go straight to DVD or video at that time, and they changed their mind. And that's why they had a scramble to try and change the aspect ratio at the very last minute. I mean, once it came out and people got to let it breathe and watch it over and over again, which I did quite a few times. The scene where Bruce puts on a balaclava for the first time and goes out and fights crime, that always stood out to me as like, I've never seen this before on screen.
Yeah, totally.
So that was really cool. And obviously they did that in Batman Begins. So that's always reminded me in Batman Begins when I watched that sequence.
You did that in real life as well.
And I did that in real life as well. Yeah, I went out and tried to clean up the mean streets of suburban New Jersey.
Whoa, wait a minute. Is this true? Is this true?
Yeah, he went out to fight crime in a balaclava and like a black turtleneck.
I commend you, sir.
Didn't look like a superhero, right? You see that guy on the street, you're like, that's a burglar. That is a guy that is about to burgle everything. And he's like, no, I'm here to save you. It's like, no, you are dressed like a cartoon burglar. Is that a striped shirt you're wearing underneath that turtleneck?
Alex,
I had a utility belt. I had a utility belt.
He had a big sack with the dollar bill sign on it.
Yeah, I had a utility belt with like a rope that I would never use. And I did it once and I almost got caught like sneaking around because one of the people in the houses were like looking at me out the window. So I like ran for it and I went home and I threw the outfit.
Think of that
in the
poor
bin.
woman that looked out of her window. She's living in the suburbs of New Jersey, like not worried about anything. She looks out a window and there's a burglar that runs away and they'll probably forever. You may have started a huge phobia for this woman, like this poor woman. She could have turned into like the Winchester lady and started like making lots of locks and extensions on her houses to keep the burglar away. It's literally just you as a teenager, like, I want to fight crime.
Yeah, I mean, and how old do you think I was, guys? How old? Take a guess. How in this mindset, like, all right, how old would someone
like 14
be?
is probably around the age where you're like, I know enough about the world and I'm going to stop these bad things from happening.
I'm going to go with, it was probably 2 weeks ago. That's my guess, right?
I was 19 when I did that.
So
honestly,
he gets caught by the cops. Imagine that. So
you're an adult.
You're a burglar.
You're going to jail.
He's like, no. So I just watched Batman Master of the Phantasm, right? Really great film. Have you seen it? Sleeper hit in the 90s. Like, not meant to see. Came out at Christmas time.
I love
Definitive
it.
Joker. Best Joker I've ever seen.
That's funny. You just end up just getting in the back of a cop car and having an hour and a half debate around the merits of the film and the best Batmans and stuff. That's great. Well, that actually leads us very nicely into our next category, which is best action scene. So we go through the movie and just kind of talk briefly about the various action scenes. First up is, do you really want to know about some gangster shit? That is the opening fight of the film where Batman throws down with the gangsters in the room and the Phantasm appears. I want you, Chucky boy. Great line reading. Love that part. And then the car crash, he goes full Vin Diesel and Fast and the Furious out
Yeah, he
of the
does.
parking garage over the street into another building. Definitely feel like Fast and Furious owe some royalties to Mask of the Phantasm for that particular stunt. Next up was the first fight we were just alluding to. This is where Batman puts on the mask, the balaclava. One thing that stood out to this was like he's using throwing stars and hammers. Like he doesn't actually have his arsenal of weaponry yet. He's just kind of finding like what's around the house. It's not items that we associate with the character. Like throwing stars is, I guess he has the like the
Batarangs.
batarang.
Batarang, yeah.
But I don't know. I just felt like I was like, oh, I've never
Alfred's
seen
like,
him.
where the fuck are my marbles? Who took my fucking marbles?
Why does
Doing that.
Alfred have marbles?
Because he gets bored and he plays marbles in his bedroom. He doesn't have a TV, so he's got to do something whilst he's up there, right?
Have any of you ever played marbles? that seems like something that you only do
He's an
if
old
you
man.
if you were
Yeah.
like born in the 19th century.
He grew up
That's
in
how old Alfred is.
different era for him. Yeah. I also like that this scene has the young version of Harvey Bullock. They never call it out or anything. It's just clearly like he's still a patrolman, kind of a cool Easter egg from the show. And the thing that really stands out to this one for me is the car crashes look amazing. The way that the cars tip over feels like very realistic and it's just like a really well shot action scene, regardless of animation style versus live action. I thought the car crashes were really awesome on this one. Next action scene, haunting of Buzz Bronski. Buzz is at the grave, poking around, I guess literally laughing at someone else's death. So maybe he kind of had it coming to him. He's going there to just troll his old enemy. And he dies in the grave. Pushes the old
Could you imagine
tombstone
that?
on him.
Hey, fellas, I gotta go. I gotta go to this guy's grave and laugh at it because he was a piece of shit. So
Just whips it
Yo.
out. Is just pissing on the grave itself.
Pissing
Like,
on
there
it.
we go.
kicking it.
And
Next
then
up
the
is,
Phantasm makes fun of him. He's like, "You always were a loser," like
He does.
she's
Throws the
giving
line
him
back
the
at him, yeah.
same medicine, which I love. Yeah, I love all the Phantasm like Buzz. Sounds so good. And that
Balls?
guy, no Buzz, because he
Oh.
goes Buzz.
I like balls.
But the voice actor of
Stacey
the
Keach.
Phantasm, Stacey
Yeah.
Keach, yeah, what a voice! Love that
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what he was in that was like standout. I know he was in like a TV show called like Titus or something, which is
Mhm.
ridiculous. That's coming to my mind, but I know that Keach was in like quite a few well-known movies back in the day.
I think a lot of the cast was actors that probably our parents' generation were more familiar with than we were. And yeah, Stacey Keach was, I think, just mostly a character actor throughout a lot of his career. I can see his face in my mind, but yeah, I can't really think of a lot of films that he was in. But yeah, he gives a great performance, and that deep voice is really perfect. Next action scene, date fight. So this is when he's out on
It's my favorite.
the first date. And yeah, just
Kung Fu
these guys-
fighting guys on bikes with chains. I'm in.
Dog, I'm with you on that. When he jumps and karate kicks the guy on the motorcycle, that is like maybe the coolest shot in the movie. I absolutely love that part. Yeah, it's
Fucking
very cool.
knockout. Like he knocked that guy out with
Absolutely.
that punch.
Yeah, it's
This
so
is
Mortal
good.
like-
Kombat.
I love
This
how
is
they
like a-
slow down the every shot too. It's like almost you feel like the scene was directed by Zack Snyder or something. It's just like everything is just super slow mo, so you can totally tell what's happening, and it takes its time, and it really pays off.
Our next fight scene, Phantasm fight and flee. So this is where Batman is doing some investigation, or I guess it's the Phantasm shows up, and the Joker has already eliminated the target and blows up the building, and then Batman is there and is forced to flee from the cops. This is the one for me. I mean, I think this whole sequence is really phenomenal. There's so many cool shots in terms of the directing, just diving off the ledges, and there's a shot where the cops like kind of pull guns on him, and the perspective there is great. The music at this part is just fabulous from Shirley Walker. My heart was kind of racing when he has to take off his mask and he's fleeing the cops, and it's like, oh man, he's like fully exposed. He could be outed right now.
They're right
Um,
behind him too. Like they're
yeah.
like 6 feet away from him, chasing behind him. It's a great sequence. Yeah, I love that sequence.
This one has my favorite shot in the movie, which is where Phantasm is throws a smoke bomb down and is disappearing, and then you see the helicopter raise up above the ledge of the
Mm,
roof, and it blows the
mm,
smoke away, and he's gone. It was like that was
yeah.
mind-blowing animation right there.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Joker victim before, and just a quick touch to say that like that whole sequence of pulling the newspaper down and he's got that frozen smile, and then it's Joker with the camera, he's like, oops, you're not Batman at all. And it's so well done. It ties in everything very quickly and perfectly, where like Joker's now in on it and knows it's not Batman. It could have been done a million ways, but that way is perfect for an animated film to keep things moving. And also he kills the guy. That guy is dead.
It's horrifying for sure. Great sequence. That's the number one for me. And then lastly is just really the climax of the film, the mask off scene where Andrea reveals that she's the Phantasm. We get the flashback where we realize that Joker was the one that had actually killed her father as part of the lackey for the gangster cruise. The Joker robot doll, you guys were getting off some bars on your podcast about that. Let's just leave it at the fact that the chopping motion that she uses with the knife could come in handy in other
And
ways.
Andy.
And there you go. And I think it's safe to assume that he probably used that in any possible way he could.
It's not the only baloney that she's stroking, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
That part too. I was like, when you actually include baloney as the weapon here, like they know what they're doing. There's some double and triple entendres in there. And then obviously the very last fight sequence, Batman in the model scenes. I think that's just cool. It just feels like a kind of a callback to King Kong with the model planes flying at him and just going through there. And I also like the fact that Joker gets a tooth punched out and then it's just there for the rest of the film. Like he got clocked so
Yeah.
hard. You never see that really in animated films where it's like the violence has consequences like that. I thought that was such a cool touch. So, and then of course the Joker jetpack, which I know was an instrumental toy for both you guys when you were little kids growing up. Pretty iconic. I know I mentioned, I think the Phantasm fight and Flea is my top. Will, you were saying yours is the first fight.
Yeah, I just really like this. It sticks out in my brain of the chain on the motorcycle and like the kung fu kicking, and I think it's fun. But I also do like when he's being chased by the police as well.
Alex, what you got for your top action scene?
I really like Batman versus Joker at the end. I really like that. I like just the way that Conroy says Joker, like as he like stands up, like he's so angry, he's
Gives
gritting
you
his
chills,
teeth as he
man.
says it. And it's straight out of the comics, like, these two are entwined to fight forever. I love Mark Hamill like waving at him like woo, like trying to get his attention. It's great. The jetpack is such an unnecessary ad, but a great ad as well, like to just extend that scene out. And Joker wearing a building as a disguise is hilarious to me. So yeah, that's my favorite sequence. It stands out as a really great Batman Joker fight.
Mike, how about you? What's your top action scene?
It's Phantasm fighting Flea. Like I said, it gives me my favorite shot of the movie, and just the animation style all the way through that sequence is, I think, just masterful. And yeah, it's kind of classic Batman, before he's friends with the police. There's always in the first couple years of his career there, he's always being chased by the cops, and it feels very classic, Frank Miller and comics kind of action set piece to me.
One thing I haven't mentioned that I really thought was great about the script for this film is that the Joker doesn't show up until halfway through the movie. You're kind of expecting it. He's on the poster. You know he's going to get there eventually. But the fact they make you wait for it, Will, to your point about the shark and Jaws, right? You know that you're going to get Joker eventually. And you're like, when's the Joker? How does he fit into the story? I know they kind of wanted to stay away from his traditional villains in this film and wanted to do something different and unique. But the fact that they were able to incorporate him into this plot and frankly this mystery in a way I thought was just very clever, and it really pays off when he finally does show up.
And you get a backstory for him as well, right? Like you get to learn about this Joker, who he was before he was the crazy clown. I really like that. I like that they don't go into it too much, but they tie it in. I mean, it is a little ridiculous that Bruce just draws in red pen a smile on a guy's face and he's like, the Joker! Like it can be anyone. But
Yeah.
it is a really funny sequence, and I really love just how Joker's introduced with like, I hate that song. And yeah, when he shows up, it's a breath of fresh air in this movie. It really is, where you're like, we're getting into it now. So yeah, it's a great addition, definitely.
Well, let's talk about our favorite non-action scenes now. I'll just go through these really quickly, and then you guys can kind of each call out your favorite. You have the meet cute at the cemetery, which is an odd place to to start up a romance, but actually oddly fitting for the character, I would say. Then you obviously have him meeting her parents in the next flashback, or her dad specifically. I thought it was also really telling. It's like, yeah, dudes definitely do get distracted on dates when there's a sick car that you're just like, oh my God, look at this car. It is so iconic. Graveside Plea, where he visits the grave of his parents and has a moment. We'll talk about that more later. Batcave bickering into the Batgagement, into the broken Bat Heart, that whole arc of him finally wanting to do the engagement. I thought it was really interesting that he's just so clumsy at this. He's so bad at actually asking a girl to go out with him. I thought it was kind of an interesting point that Alan brought up on your interview, that he was like, we really wanted to make him like a juvenile and an icon for
Yeah, you'll get
juveniles.
the idea.
And yeah,
Yeah.
just the fact that like, yeah, little boys are very awkward around girls like that, and that's a really good way, I thought, for him to underscore the awkwardness.
What a fucking loser, am I right?
Totally.
He's Riz like the Riddler.
The Joker intro scene, when he finally does show up, as we discussed, just all-time entrance for that character, and a great payoff for what you've been expecting. The playing for his life with the dad getting killed towards the end, and they're got to get out of there really quickly, and then their sort of reconciliation in the modern time. And then the final scene, the councilman and his wacky pal, as Joker says, and the interrogation at Arkham Asylum. So this is a tough one for me. I really, there's a lot of great stuff in this film outside of that, the action, and I think the story is excellent. But this one kind of switched for me on rewatch because I watched it twice this week. I really like the scene at the end with Arthur Reeves in the asylum, when he is laughing but trying to spill his secrets, but he's scared. I know Alan cited that as his favorite scene in the film when you interviewed him, and on rewatch, I was just really blown away by his voice performance in that scene. I thought it was great.
Yeah, that's the guy from Die Hard, the Hans Bubby.
Yeah.
No
Hart
way.
Bachner. Yeah, Hart
Yes,
Bachner.
yeah.
And our guy
Superhero
from
Cinema Club
Supergirl.
classic, yeah.
Yeah, he's we did Supergirl last season, and he is literally the inciting incident of that film is that every girl in that town thinks that he's hot and wants to kidnap him. And so that's like, he has a pretty significant role in that film as well. Would not necessarily recommend checking that one
Supergirl,
out.
Bubby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the whole sequence and just him going, "Oh no," as he's laughing. Amazing. And the doctor's trying to like subdue him. But the scenes you just mentioned, the two, I have to say two of them,
again.
are the graveyard sequence where he's pleading with his parents' gravestone. That's Kevin Conroy at his absolute best. You know, that is Bruce Wayne. That is the character. And it just, the emotion in his voice and what he channeled there is, I can't find another sequence that carries that much emotion in a Batman movie. So there's that as the highlight. And a really close second is when he puts on the mask for the first time in front of Alfred, and Alfred's reaction. That's why criminals are scared of this dude. He's transformed in front of his closest friend and ally, and it's brilliant. It's so good. So yeah, those two sequences are my two favorites for sure.
How about you, Will? What's your top not action scene from Batman Mask of the Phantasm?
I love when Joker goes to visit the old man. It's just the dialogue and everything, and like catching up, and just like the scariness of like, what is he gonna do to this guy? And since it's a film and there's no holds barred, fucking kills him, and it's great. It's so satisfying to see an evil cartoon character be like, yeah, no, I kill people now. You're like, awesome.
Yeah.
So,
That's
a
what
big
I want to
stand-up
see. A nice big smile.
Oh man, that's amazing. Love that line read.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. You took the words right out of my mouth, Alex. But that scene where he puts on the cowl for the first time in front of Alfred, and he's just like, "My word!" The score swells in such an amazing way in that moment, and you only see Batman as like a silhouette at the front of the frame there. The shadowing in that sequence is
You know that
so
Batman
good.
that scene's going like, oh, we're cooking.
It's
Alfred's
it's working.
like that.
It actually works.
Imagine if Alfred actually wasn't reacting to Batman. He's like, "My word, I've left the oven on," and just like runs upstairs.
He's like, this is it. This is the look. Thank you, Alfred. He's like, oh shit, I wasn't even looking at him. I was thinking about the cookies.
He bolts out. He's like, "Oh, by the way, you're terrifying. So this is really good." But
Really
Oh,
good.
you look like
Really good,
shit.
sir.
You look like an absolute joke. Anyway, continue.
You look as black as the cookies, sir. You're just dark. It's just not good.
I remember. Oh my god, what did we do? We did that the joke where what was it, Cockman that we did? No, was it Cockman or it was
it was,
Gimp Man? That
Gimp
was
Man.
it. Yeah. When he first hops down
It's
Bruce
a
Wayne
balaclava.
in the balaclava, and he's like, "Spread your legs, everybody!" Or like they're like, "Spread your legs, spread your legs, open your cheeks. It's me, Gimp Man." You're like, "What?" This will
This is
definitely
another
strike
one.
fear into
Yeah.
to my victims.
Beat Pulp Fiction to Gimp stuff by 6 months as well. So yeah, that's another one.
Yes, father, I will become a Gimp.
Yes, yeah. We said that he found like his sex box or like whatever his sex dungeon. Yes,
I love it.
Father,
This
I
is
shall
this is
become
the
a
quality
Gimp.
stuff you got to check out their podcast for, ladies and gentlemen. It is,
Oh yeah, it's
great
quality.
stuff. Great
That's
stuff.
high quality Gimp stuff.
Good guy and bad guy. I don't know. I honestly don't have very strong feelings in terms of I didn't like one character or another in this film. I don't know if you guys want to talk about that at all. We could do it really quickly if you do, but
Well, Joker is a supporting character in this, really, and he absolutely shines. So I would say Joker.
And Andrea for me. I think
Well,
is
she's a main
great
character.
I guess she is. Yeah, she's the main villain in the end as well. She's not
No,
supposed
guess.
to be.
She's a big time main character.
Yeah, okay.
she's excellent. That's my pick for best supporting character, non-Batman.
Oh,
edition.
there you go, bud. You're outvoted.
Yeah, no, I thought she did a great job. So
Yeah. Lois
right, so
Lane in Superman the Animated Series as well.
Yeah, I knew I recognized the voice.
totally. Let's just go ahead and move into I've got questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Questions. Questions that need answering.
Too many questions. There's too many questions. There's just too many. I'll ask the questions.
This is the part of the show where we discuss various issues that we have with the script. I don't know if you guys came prepared with some, but feel free to riff on our own small little issues we have. I guess that first and foremost, it starts with what are the Phantasm's powers exactly? They get shot right in the chest in the very first scene. Nothing happens. They can disappear into smoke like immediately. They have super speed on the rooftop when Batman's chasing them. Just kind of the power set's a little confusing to me. Can you guys explain any of that?
I like how you're referring to as them because it's technically Andrea
Keeping
the
it-
whole time, but
Keeping it spoiler free a little bit, yeah.
Spoiler alert, everybody. The Phantasm is a
yeah,
girl.
I mean, come on, you're not going to be listening to this and not seen the movie, right? Yeah, no, the Phantasm doesn't have pronouns. It's Andrea the whole time.
I go by they, them.
I'm a very progressive phantom.
I love
Did
it.
you just assume my gender?
My next question here is Wayne Manor always next to the ocean in the series? Because there's a couple different scenes where they're like right on the bay. Is that like canonically established in the animated series, or is that just for this film?
No, it is in the series. Yeah, there's quite a few shots that you'll see, exterior shots of Wayne Manor, and it's on this like cliffside overlooking the sea.
Mike, you got any questions for us here?
Yeah, I got a couple. First one isn't really a question, but just kind of an observation that the way that the plot is structured is kind of intentionally misleading because the film opens with the Phantasm first attack on Chucky Saul, but then the next scene is we see Andrea coming in on the flight. And so it's like this red herring scenario, and it kind of, on rewatch, I was like, that is such a cheap kind of cop out to doing the plot structure this way to throw you off of her trail. I don't know if you guys have any comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. It's a fair assessment, I guess. Looking at it retrospectively, obviously she killed the first guy and then escaped Gotham and then had to get on the plane again and go back. Like that's a lot of back and forth. Like just
exactly.
so she can keep up her cover. But yeah, I mean, I don't bump into it too much. No.
But
Using
my
those
actual
frequent fire.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But my actual question, the scene where we talked about where Bruce fights the biker gang, he's saving a guy with like a cash box. What is this guy doing out here? He's just got an open cash box full of jewels and cash, and he wasn't expecting to get mugged. He's asking for it, I think.
Wow,
He's in Gotham City and he's asking for it.
What are you doing?
Did you just assume?
Is he doing 3-card Monty or something out there? I don't know what's happening. Like, why is this guy here in the
That's
first
true.
place?
I think he was playing like some sort of street card game to earn money or whatever. I don't think he's doing any magic tricks or anything. I think he's just
Bruce immediately is just like, I'm coming to this guy's aid.
Phantasm's like, is this your card? I'm upping my magic.
And then my next question is just at the very end, we see that the locket that has the picture of both of them inside of it is somehow inside the wall of the Batcave. How did that get there? After she disappears, she's like, okay, now I have to go sneak down into the Batcave and get inside there and put it in this really out of the way crevice crack in the wall, you know?
That's true. I've never really thought about that. I guess in defending one of my favorite Batman movies, I think when he proposed to her and the bats all flew out of the hole, she got scared and dropped it down the hole and it fell into that spot. That's the only
But then he sees it later in her apartment when he's there investigating. He picks it up and holds
Oh, how the hell did it get there?
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
That
I
doesn't
got
make
questions.
any
I don't know.
sense.
Yeah, I had that one too.
God.
And then my last big question is just, where's Robin? Where's Robin during this whole film? What's he up to? How come he's not helping out? I wondered to
He's
the
at
point.
uni. He's got to study, and he's he's
Go to
playing
comedy
ball.
shows.
Yeah, there was part of me that was wondering if they had like an actual explanation in the show where Robin is sent off for a little while, but he just kind of pops in and out. It seems like
He's on break from college
Yeah.
and stuff. I think he comes back and fights crime.
There we
so
go. I
he
like
must
it.
have been studying midterms or something.
This was taking place during the semester, so there we go. All right, our last couple categories here. So, what's it all about? This is where we basically break down the film's themes. And for me, I think really this movie's themes are quite clear. It's not really just about the different approaches for dealing with the death of a parent, as both main characters do, but more specifically, the question of what we owe our parents. You guys have already talked about it a lot, but I find that scene at the grave. I mean, I know I went with a different one, but that is one of the most poignant scenes, I think, in all of Batman's film history. I've never really seen anything like that, where he's overtly questioning his mission and his dedication to the cause. The dialogue is fantastic. I know Alan mentioned that like that was the one scene that was never punched up or rewritten. His lines like, I don't want to let you down, honest. It just doesn't hurt so bad anymore. Right in the gut.
It's the way he says please. It's for me.
Yeah.
When he goes please and he's begging them, and then that the choir is just it's getting louder, the thunder's getting louder. It's like them saying no back to him. It's so well done. It's such a great scene.
I love that he says, I didn't count on being happy. Like
Yeah.
he's obviously finally getting over his own grief. And it's like, but this vow that he brings up, is holding him to, he's such an honorable person that he has to keep that vow. But I don't need this anymore. I'm getting over it,
Alfred
And-
must have loved all of this because obviously Alfred always ever wanted for him to move on, and like
That's right.
you could see them like if it worked out like 5 years down the line. It's like remember you were fucking like traveled around the world and you studied to like fight crime and you like wore like that gimp suit. Like thank God you settled down. That would have been chaos. By the way, Harvey didn't say this
what a
movie. He's
loser.
perfectly fine.
I think you guys may have an idea for a comic here where Batman has succeeded in his mission, but Alfred is so bored that he starts paying criminals to like take on new masks to bring Batman back or something like that. And they're like, "Who's behind the whole thing?" It turns out it was Alfred because he missed his guy Batman. But
He just wanted to watch Real Housewives of Gotham City, and he's like, "Get out!"
Real Housewives
my
of
time.
Gotham. I love
I
it.
like to play single player games, not online.
I think the theme of this film also connects to like a meta theme that runs through all 5 of these 80s and 90s Batman films, and that is that Batman is really not capable of romantic partnership. Every movie introduces a new love interest for him, but it never really works out for him. I think the only type of love that Batman is
He's
capable
just like
for
a dog. He's like, I didn't quit it, baby. Like, yeah, buddy. It's like, really? Like every time?
the Bachelor thing is not just like a persona that he puts on to throw him off. He
The
truly is just like,
Bachelor?
oh, I love it. Let's go. Let's go. Got plenty of good ideas here.
Oh,
but,
I like the idea of Bruce Wayne being on like The Bachelor. How fun would that be?
That would
And
be
then,
good.
and then
Yeah,
like then
He
suddenly
has to
like
like
he
take off
sees-
mid episode. He's like, sorry guys, I gotta go. You can finish this episode without me.
But like you have like I don't know, someone like Poison Ivy or something in as one of the bachelorettes, and she's messing with
This
him.
is some great Batman fan fiction we're writing right now.
literally Will.
Well, when you're me, it's not fan fiction.
I was going to say, we've got direct access to a talented artist and writer here. You can
All right, we're gonna
feel
pitch
free to
to
run with
DC.
these.
Let's do it.
Yeah, when it's
fair.
my brother, you just never see it because DC never says yes to any of his ideas. So, yeah, that's just where it lives and dies right now.
Yep. Moving
There we
on.
go. So I guess all this is to say we're at the final category here, which is our final verdict for the film. So I don't know if you two are aware, but we rate on our show on a scale of classic, great, good, okay, bad, and terrible. I think we could probably tell the bottom three are going to be off the table here. But Will, let's start with you.
It's a classic.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'm gonna go classic as well. Yeah, it's a classic. Yeah.
I think when it's a classic, you don't really need to add much. It's an all-time classic.
But Mark
I would-
Hamill being the best version of the Joker ever in this, it makes it a classic.
For me, this movie is a classic because it's about Bruce Wayne and the vow and what he has to do over what he wants to do. You never saw that until like the Nolan movies where they were trying to get into the mind of Bruce Wayne. And it really does delve into that. And I really loved that as a kid and I still love it now. And this is a movie that I think is an essential Batman movie. If you want to know about the character and you want to learn everything there is about him, this should be on your list of one of the movies you should watch for sure. Yeah, it's a classic because of that.
I gotta agree, it's a classic, and I think not just because of all the reasons we've gone over through the last hour or so, but I've seen a lot of these Warner Brothers animated movies, and then this is clearly the best of the superhero animated films. I think even to date, I'd be hard pressed to find something that even comes close. I mean, you can just look at one particular aspect, like the voice acting. It's top notch. You're not going to get better. The hand drawn animation style, top notch. You're not going to get better. And, you can just look at one of those things that would put it to being great, and then combine it all together, and that just makes it a classic.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with great just because I watched this film for the first time a week ago. And so I think classics are things that
Wow.
grow with you over time. And so just not having as much history with this film, I can't really put it on that highest ever
So
tier.
did you see the twist coming then?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I sort of suspected her from the jump, and then they actually did a pretty good job, I felt, of wrong-footing you with Arthur Reeve. At one point, I was kind of thinking, well, Joker brings it up to him, and his hatred for Batman is so conspicuous and frankly a little over the top that I was like, are you just trying to like throw him off the scent that you're actually the Phantasm here? But yeah, so by the very end, it starts to feel there's a couple like tips that you're like, okay, once her dad's dead, it's like, okay, it's got to be her. Like she's out for
Yeah.
vengeance. It's the same thing as, what Batman's doing essentially, but different approaches. So, but yeah, I was actually genuinely compelled by the mystery element of this film in terms of finding out who the big reveal was going to be. I thought that was one of the stronger things about the writing, and this is a very well written film. I think the story is great. And Alex, I thought in your interview with Alan, one of the interesting things he said that Warner Brothers arranged a cut of the film that was just chronological and not going into flashbacks. And he was like, this doesn't work at all. The structure of the whole movie is that you've got to have these flashbacks crucially placed in different parts as you unfold this mystery and you kind of find out what's going on. So yeah, I thought the mystery element was really good in this. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I
this
agree.
brings us to our final category, our recommendations. This is where we share something that we love that's connected to the film in some way. I'll go ahead and get us started. And I think I was kind of late to the knowledge that Mark Hamill played the Joker. I did not realize that for the longest time. Like watching the show, I guess I just never looked at the credits and it just didn't strike me. So obviously, Mark Hamill's iconic role is Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. I know both of you guys are big Star Wars guys. Will, you were talking about playing the new game, which then it comes down to like, what Star Wars film would I recommend here? I am a Last Jedi defender. I know a lot of people are not big fans of that film. I'm not saying it's a perfect film. It certainly has some flaws, but he is the best part of that film. That being said, it's Return of the Jedi. His character in Return of the Jedi is such a badass. He shows up at the beginning at Jabba's palace, and he's just, guess what, dude? Jabba's laughing in his face. We're about to do the most horrible things to you and Princess Leia. And he's like, dog, this is your last chance. This isn't my last chance. This is your last chance. That is some of the most
Direct quote from the movie.
Good job,
direct.
bro.
Direct quote.
That's exactly what
I
he
like
said.
it. Sounds Bro Luke Skybroker or whatever his name is. Luke Bro Walker.
Sorry, bro.
Dude, bro. Your ass is toast, bro.
Yeah, Yeah, I just think he's an eternal badass in that movie, and obviously the redempting story arc with his father at the end is
Oh,
just
did he just
classic.
shoots like white claws out of instead of a lightsaber?
Jabba, chill, bro. Have a
Yeah,
claw.
chill.
Let's talk about it.
Yo, just fucking relax like you're in carbonite, dude. Just freeze up, man. It's chill out.
So, not a lot of people are aware of this film. It's the third one in the Star Wars trilogy. In case you haven't ever seen it, the film is called Return of the Jedi. That is my recommendation.
Just the way you said it, like the film is called Return. Anybody ever heard of it? Anybody?
It's a bit of a deep cut, but yeah, I think you should definitely check it out. Mike, what do you got for your recommendations?
Yeah, so for comic recommendation, I set it up a little bit earlier with the story of Bruce Timm's Two-Face character dating the evil twin. That comes from a comic book called Batman Black and White, which is an anthology comic that combines a bunch of different stories and artistic styles from different artists. Jim Lee's in there, of course, the iconic Jim Lee cover on the front there. It goes alongside with the Superman Red and Blue that I recommended last season, but I think is just one of the great compilation comics and is just an amazing thing to add to anybody's collection. And then for my movie recommendation, I'm going to go with the Kevin Conroy connection here and continue on with another Batman animated film called Gotham Knight, which again is a kind of a anthology series, different artistic styles. It was very much akin to the Animatrix film that came out where they had all these different connected stories within the greater universe. Gotham Knight was supposed to be tying in between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. Actually, is where they introduced the what's the female cop's name in that movie in Dark Knight, the one who actually betrays Harvey Dent, and I forget her
It's
name.
not. Is it? No, it's not
It's
Montoya
not
in the
Montoya.
movie.
It's
Yeah.
basically Montoya.
Well, she has her
Yeah.
own storyline in there, and I was fortunate enough to meet Kevin Conroy at a Comic-Con here in Denver and got his autograph on my copy right here. So
Fun.
Awesome.
he was extremely gracious. He spent a few minutes talking to me, and he was just a lovely person to talk to. So Batman Gotham Knight, I'm not sure where you can find it, what it's available to stream on, if on anything, but I'd highly recommend seeking it out.
Good stuff. And do you guys have any recommendations, either base animated episodes or other films that are somewhat connected to this that you'd like to recommend?
I recommend playing the first two Arkham games. I mean, my God, if you want more Mark Hamill and Paul Dini writing and Kevin Conroy as
Conroy.
Batman,
Yeah.
it's just a fantastic, different sort of version of the characters that's still cool. It might feel a bit like late 2010s, and I mean late 2000s, early 2010s. I mean, people are wearing pretty scandalous outfits and stuff like that, but. And like I don't know if you remember Catwoman from that, but she is basically a porn star in that game. It's crazy. But it's a
That's how
fun...
I like
Oh,
my Catwoman.
Yeah.
I was going to say I need to play this game immediately. So
But yeah, it's great games. Specifically, I love the first one, and the second one's great too. So,
what about you, Alex?
My recommendation. It's Batman the Animated Series. If you haven't seen it, obviously, if you watch this movie, dive straight into that series because it will just continue with the amazing stuff that you've seen in this film. But it's actually the one I want to highlight is a Justice League episode. It's called Epilogue, and it actually ties into this movie because you do actually see Andrea again. In this episode, it's based in the much later years of Bruce's life. It's actually after Batman Beyond. Do you need to watch that in order to watch this episode? It would be good, but not necessarily. But it's about the next guy that takes on the role of Batman and how he is connected to Bruce Wayne, which you find out in this episode. And you see kind of how it's all unraveled and how Andrea's thrown back in as the Phantasm. And it will be the final me and my brother will ever review of our show when we eventually get to the end, because once we get on to Batman Beyond, after we've done all of Batman the Animated Series and the new Batman Adventures, that will be the bookend. Literally, the way the first episode, Leather Wings, begins with Kevin Conroy, police officer, which is just kiss like all the way. It's just so well done. So yeah, Epilogue would be the one if you want to know what happens to this Batman in much later years and where he ends up, and to see Andrea again, go check that episode out.
That's a great recommendation. I am looking forward to it because, yeah, the Phantasm did not kind of become an iconic villain in Batman's Rogues Gallery. This was really the only appearance. I think there may be even a handful in the comics, but yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out because I'd love to see how that story wraps up. Well, on that note, we are going to wrap it up here with you guys. Thank you so much for coming on. This was really just a total joy for us. It's amazing to talk to you guys. It's funny. I've been listening to your podcast like so much in preparation, and to just be able to sit down with both of you in person it's been great. So we really appreciate you guys coming on.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you very
Yeah.
much. And I
Yeah,
just wanna
appreciate
say,
that.
everyone check out Mobster Mash issue 2, which is, I believe, this is coming out in October. So it's live on Kickstarter. Just search Will Robson in Kickstarter and it should come up. Mobster Mash issue 2. It's my comic book series, very heavily influenced by Batman the Animated Series in style and tone. And it's about classic movie monsters as mobsters, all in a turf war over a 1940s Tinseltown. So check it out.
That sounds great. I'm definitely going to check that out. And I just
Thank
want to echo Mark here. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure having you guys here, and I hope we can do something again in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a pleasure. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. And with that, we have another episode out, but stick around next week. We are going to be throwing it back for a very special bonus episode. We're going to review Batman 66, which I know you guys are both fans of. I had never seen it, and so yeah, I'm kind of excited to go back to the origins of Batman on film with our bonus episode on Batman 66. We will see you guys next week on Superhero Cinema Club.
Superhero Cinema Club is hosted by Mark Schiff and me, Mike Carnes. Produced by Mark Schiff. Editing by Mike Carnes. Original music provided by Chris Carnes. Find him on Spotify. Be sure to follow us on social media. You can find us at Superhero Cinema Club, and don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a review. Join us next time as we dive into another epic adventure from the world of superhero cinema.